Yeah, is my screen is visible, right? Everyone?
Yes.
Okay, done. Yeah. So already I have loaded the data over here. These are the different tables that we have loaded in the yesterday's class. So in the first two classes, I explained you how to extract the data because already you been people are been attending the classes since past 2 days. So right now I directly entered into the Power Query over here. Okay. In the Power Query, this is a Power Query editor where you can make the transformations. And first thing is here when you look at the Power Query, close and apply. The first button we call it as this first menu based option. You can find close and apply. What is meant by close and apply? That means if you make any transformations in the Power Query, okay, in order to save the transformation, so we will click on the close and apply. So there will be close and apply, apply, close. When you click on only apply, the changes will be applied. Okay. When you close, the changes will close. But every time, once you make the transformation, you need to apply the close and apply. So whatever any transformation you make, that transformation will be saved. And again, you will be moving to your Power BI desktop. In the Power BI desktop, where you can build your visuals. Okay. That is the fundamental thing. Second option we call as new rows. That means new source. What is meant by new source? In this new source, when you click on this Excel, from here also you can connect to the any data that I have already said. So when you are into Power BI desktop, what happens? In the Power BI desktop, directly from get data, you used to get that new data source. But in the Power Query editor also, you have an option called as new source. From this also you can connect to any other data sources. When I say data sources are nothing but the Excel, the place where you store your data. Technically, we call it as data source. So suppose in the Excel is my data source. In the Excel, when I click on Excel, see in the desktop, suppose there are these many files are there, column transformation, something. So with these, so I'm a click on column transformation. I want to just select this file, column transformation. Click on open. So when you click on here from directly here also, you can load your tables. Okay. This we have text, transport, pivot and pivot. These are the columns we have. So I would like to select this split, transpose, unpivot, column transformation, text, transpose, pivot and unpivot, column row. So these are the transformation. These are the tables I want to select. So directly from here, if you click on OK, those tables will be directly loaded into your Power Query. Okay, the tables which can be. So you can see directly over here, this transpose, column, text. These are the tables which are loaded over here. Now, uh, let us go to the see. We are in the column row table. This is a pivot and pivot table. Just we have loaded. Transpose table we have loaded. Text table, column transformation, pivot and pivot, split. So these from split column, split table to column row, we have loaded. Okay. That means I want to say from Power Query editor also, you can connect to any new data sources. Okay. And then there is an option called as recent sources in the Power Query editor. What is meant by recent sources? Whatever the data sources which you have connected recently, that will be reflected over here. So in the yesterday's class, in day before yesterday and today, we have connected to some Excel files, right? Suppose you have worked on this file. Tomorrow, some other person is working on it. Like suppose I went to leave. So other Power BI developer, he came and he want to continue my work. Just he will come and he will go to the recent searches. So he don't know where are the data sources, but he want to know what data sources are he connected. Just he will go and for the recent sources. Then he can come to know like a column transformation, sample, employment date. So these are the Excel files that he have connected recently. So whatever the see column transformation we have in the column transformation, we have these many tables are there. All this split transport. So what are the tables we have connected? This from split column to column row. These are the tables, right? All these tables are present in this Excel file. When you look at sample superstore data, this is an Excel file. The orders table, okay, returns table, people's table. These three tables are coming from sample superstore data. This Excel. Employee department Excel. From this employee department Excel, we are getting department table, employee table, and manager table. And then date dimension date table, this table is coming from date dimension. That means from the first class, I have kind of used these four Excels have connected to this four Excel. So that information will be present in the recent sources. And when you come to same Power Query option, there is an option called as enter data. So this option will help you to prepare or create the tables manually. Okay, you can create the tables manually by using an option called as enter data. So we can connect to the SQL Server databases, you can connect to Excel, you can connect it to Oracle databases. Sometimes if the data set is very small, so if you want to store suppose you are for 5 or 6, suppose in the weekend batch only 5 or 10 people are joining. So that is a simple data set. I want to create that data set. That data set is nothing but data source. I want to create that Excel sheet and I want to load it into the Power Query. So in that, for preparing a manual tables, you need to click on enter data. So once you click on this enter data, it will ask you to give the column name. So what is the column name? I will give my name of student. So one column I am giving. So you click on this plus button. So a new column will be inserted. So insert column, it is appearing, right? Click on. So I will click on here, name of the student, their mobile number. So I can here registration something. So name of the students, you can write it as Satya or something, Manisha. Mobile number, I am giving some dummy mobile number over here, just to store the data. So they want to enroll the course or something. I will create like yes, yes. Just I created some dummy data. Now, after creating this, you don't want to add new column. If you don't want to add a new row, just you click on OK. Right. See that a table is created, name of the student, mobile number, and registration. A table is created. So that table name is, if we have not assigned any name, so it will consider it as a table, insert a table, a table name by a name called as table, it will be created. So if you want to rename that table, okay, this you can come here. So I can rename it as student details like this. So in the Power Query itself, sometimes if you want to create some table manually, so in that case, you can go for this enter data. Okay, that is called as enter data. Now next, after that you have data source setting. What is meant by data source setting? So just you need to click on the data source setting over here. Once you click on the data source setting, after this you can come to here, change source. Okay, change source. See, whatever the data source is coming from, where that data source will be reflecting here. So see data's desktop column row. So that's when you click on this table, suppose I'm selecting this column over here. I will close here. See, in the data source setting, each and every Excel is coming from which data source, it will be reflecting here. See, all this table from split column to column row, these are coming from column transformation. Okay, column transformation is a table that previously we have discussed, right? In the new source, if you want to see in the new sources or recent sources, if I close, if you want to see, just you need to close, then only you can see. I've already explained the recent sources. What are the sources? One is column transformation, Excel, sample superstore. One is employee department. One is date. These are the date. These are the Excel files, but my requirement is I don't want to just the Excel name. I want to know from where these tables are, which these Excel files are stored. That information I want. The data, these are the data sources. Data sources are nothing but Excel. If I want to see these data sources or these connected Excel files, where they are stored in your local system, if you want to find that information, you need to go to this data source setting. The column transformation is coming from Janardhan desktop. It is also coming from desktop. But the date dimension, it is coming from downloads. I have downloaded it. And sample superstore data, it is also coming from downloads. When you click on the cursor, it will show C user Janardhan Patipaka download sample superstore. Here also same. Janardhan Patipaka downloads date dimension. It is coming from desktop. It is coming from the desktop. Now what happens here? Here, if sometimes what happens if I have selected this column transformations over here. Suppose it is in the date dimension. Suppose I selected yeah, in the downloads, the column, we have date dimension 1. So I will go to the downloads. Okay. In the downloads, when you see the column over here, this is the date dimension. I have connected. So where it is there, it in the download section. Okay. Now what I am doing, I will try to delete this file. I try to delete this file. No more options like I want to delete. I'm deleting these files over here. Now I'm coming over here like when I delete this file where it is in the date dimension. Now if I refresh my file, okay, I'm going to this home page or transform home tab. I will click on this refresh. So I will click on refresh all. When I click on the refresh all, what happens? See, dimension date, I am getting the error. Why I am getting the error? This dimension date, this is the dimension date. This Excel file or this table, when you show at the recent sources, it is this date dimension. It is coming. This table is coming from here, but in the download section. But I have downloaded. I have removed that table over here. See in the download section. That's why these tables we are getting the error. Now what happens? I will take this date dimension to over here. I will click on this Control Z, Control Z. Again, date dimension table has appeared over here. Okay, date dimension. Previously, I have deleted and again I have pasted over here. Now I will come to my Power BI desktop. Okay, in the Home tab, I will click on this refresh preview or refresh all. See, again, this date dimension table has appeared. So in this way, now what happens? Next step, what I will do, okay, I will remove this date dimension column. So I will copy this date dimension column over here, copy. From the downloads, what happens? I will Control V. See where my downloads dimension table. There are a lot of files over here. Okay, not a problem. I will try to copy because there are a lot of the files I'm not able to predict it. Instead of the download section, I will try to place in this PC, local disk D, or yeah, suppose I will keep it on training folders. Yeah, in the training folders, I have kept it in the date dimension. Now what I will do from the download section, I will try to remove this column. Delete. Okay, I have deleted it. Now, if you come to the Power BI desktop, if you try to refresh your file, This is coming from where? It is coming from the download section. I have refreshed it. There in the download section, I have removed that table. I am getting the error. What I have done, I have removed from the download section and have kept that file into training folder section. Now, my requirement is my dimension date table should appear here. Okay. In that case, I need to go to the data source setting. What is the my file name? Dimension date file name. Come to change source. Previously, the file was in the download section. Okay. Now I need to change the path of the file and I need to change that path to training folders. If I click on OK, then your date dimension table will appear over here. Change the source. Okay. Previously downloads, it is there, right? Previously this file, but in the downloads I have deleted. There is no data. That's why you are getting as error over here. Now, how you can change the file? You need to come over here and browse. Okay. In the browse section, I will come to this training folders. In the training folders, I have kept that file. I have deleted from the download section and have kept it in the training folder. Just select the file. Click on OK. Next, click on OK. Okay. Just close. See, now the dimension date table is appear. Now you can ask me what is by this example, you are able to understand what is the importance of data source setting. See, suppose I have connected the data to my local system. If I share same file to you, and when you perform if I share, I can share this file directly by using PBIX format, save as, and I can share it this file through WhatsApp or through some mail. Now, if you try, you will try to open this file and you will start on the Power BI working on building the report, but you will get some errors because this dimension date path, it is in my local system. Now, if you open the files directly over there, it is in Janardhan download system in my local system, and you are not able to connect this data and you are not able to develop this report. Sometimes if it is in the common organizations, we have some permissions that you can work in the same domain, but you see a different user. In that condition, if you want to save the file, you need to change the data source setting. Suppose if it is my the local system, or if you sometimes frequently, if you download the data, you might in the real time, you will change the location of the file frequently. If you change the files of the location frequently, and if you refresh, your reports will not get refreshed because you will get errors. So accordingly, if you are sometimes there is a chance that your team lead will ask to share, like you develop one report and he will ask all the tables should be placed at some folder which is a common folder. Okay, in that case, you need to change the data source settings and these tables and adjust this data source accordingly. Then only your tables will be getting refreshed perfectly. That is the importance of data source setting. Okay, suppose if I'm working on here, tomorrow, in my organization, other person is working. So if you want to work on that report, like if the data is connected to my, because I'm not connecting to any databases, right? SQL Server databases. So if all these files are stored in a common folder where everyone have an access, that is not a problem. So in a common folder, suppose I'm working on X company, we have a common access. I have where everyone have access to that particular place. It is not a problem. But when you store the data in local folder, and it is restricted to your personal local folder, if somebody is working on it, if you need to work on same file, they need to change the data source. Okay, then only you are then only you can able to develop the report. If somebody is develop the report, if you want to continue the work, that is the importance of this data source setting. Okay, with a live example, I have explained you because dimension date POS in the download I have deleted. When you delete it and refresh all, then you will get an error. Okay, I change the path from there to some training folder and have changed the source over here. How to change the source? Just click on the browse over here. Now change the location to the training folder here, that dimension. When you click on OK, again the table has appeared here. They will ask what is the importance of the data source setting. Then you need to give some, when you frequently change the folders, in order to, when you want to refresh that file, so you need to give the new path accordingly. then only the refresh options will be enabled and your data will be refreshed. So this is how you need to answer this question. Okay. Now I have seen while refreshing, you might be having some doubt over here. Suppose I was refreshing the report. Every time I'm previously in the two examples, I have clicked on refresh all, but instead of refresh preview, I clicked on refresh all. Now the interviewer asks in the refresh, there is a two types of options are there in the refresh preview and refresh all. What is the difference? The difference here is, suppose I am selecting on this particular table. If I click on refresh preview, only that select data which is present in that selected table will be refreshed and remaining will not be refreshed. Okay. When I select this and click on refresh all the tables that you have loaded into your Power Query will be refreshed. That is the difference between refresh preview and refresh all. Okay. If my requirement is, I'm very enough confident these are the tables I've loaded. There will be two types of the tables actually. We call some tables as static tables. We call some tables as dynamic table. What is the difference between static and dynamic table? So static table means the tables in which the data will not change usually. So the data remains constant. That tables are called as static tables. Okay. So what is meant by dynamic tables? That data in that particular table will, if they change frequently, we call it as dynamic table. Suppose when you look at this orders table, we can say this order table will be a dynamic table because every time this customer ID, few customers, okay, they will order date, they will order some product, okay, the sales will be changing, new order ID will be created. So because if any transaction will happen, that will be recorded over here. That's why the orders table, we call it as a dynamic table. But this date dimension table, right? We have prepared one calendar date table. This will not change anytime unless we change manually. Will not. This dates contain 2011 here from 2017. This date we have prepared this calendar table. I will explain you how to prepare the calendar table in coming classes while using the DAX function. So, but this table has created manually and it will not change throughout the entire development process of your product. That table we call it as static table. If the data remains constant, we will call it as if no change in the data takes place, we call it static table. If the data change, we call it as dynamic table. So when you click on here, if you are working only, you are enough confident out of this data. For example, I think I am saying this is the only table which is changing. For example, I'm saying all the tables that I have connected, only the data in this table is changing. I know that as a power, this table changes. I am working on the report and remaining data is not changing. It will remain constant. So in that case, instead of if I go and click on this refresh button, refresh all the remaining tables also refreshed. So there will be lot of time to take the refresh the report. But here it is, you can ask me, sir, when you click on the refresh also, the refresh has happened very fast. Here you are working on a data which is very small. We are connecting the data, but in the real time, you will work on a data where you play with some lakhs and millions of rows. So in that condition, instead of clicking on refresh all, you need to, if you are enough confident that only data is changing in orders table, remaining data is changed, just instead of selecting refresh all, click on refresh preview. So the changes which are there in taken place in the orders table, it will be get refreshed. So this is one of the best practice that you follow. Okay. uh, if you go, you can go for the refresher also, but all unnecessary tables which are the tables also got refreshed, and it will go and in the back end it will try to go and scan the records whether ever new data is added at the back end. So it will kill some time, it will take some time to go and scan that records. So unnecessarily we are creating some burden on the Power Query. So that is not a best practice. This is called, if selected tables want to refresh, we call it as refresh preview. If all the tables if you want to refresh, that is called as refresh all. Now in the next example also we created here managed parameters. We'll be discussing this concept for 1 hour of the classes that I will not touch because only this option will take 1 hour of the classes. We will come again to the manage parameter. Now we can show the properties also. This the properties means it will give the information on the table orders, the query properties. That means orders, the table name is order. It will give enable load to report. That means when you click on this enable load and disable load. That means if you click on this enable load on OK, so this table once you refresh this when you uncheck this button, this table will not get refreshed. Okay, but every time you need to check enable in report refresh. That means when you refresh the report, this table should be refreshed. So that's why by default it both should be on. I will explain what is enable replace and report refresh. This will be there like when you select over here. Here also you can in the orders table, when I right click on it, enable load and include in the report refresh. These two options will be also there, and I will explain you. Okay. Here just give the information. Advanced editor, you know, right? What is meant by advanced editor? What we have discussed. If you make any transformations in the Power Query, all the transformations will be recorded step by step by generating the mashup language code. This is called as what we call it as advanced editor. Okay, that we have discussed. Now there is called as manage. What is called as manage? Nothing but with this option you can create a you can manage your file. Suppose if you want to in the orders table over here. Okay, now if you want to delete this table, orders table, just you click on delete, right? Are you sure you want to delete orders? It will give some query. It will give us yes, I will say okay. So that means see your orders table was deleted. So in order to delete any table, if you want to delete any table, you can go to the manage and you can, it is taking some time. You can able to delete the tables over here. Now you can come to the employee table, selecting employee table. So I'm coming over here. If I want to employee table, I should want to duplicate it. Okay. From here also, there are many ways. Same options can be done in from many ways. If you want to duplicate the employee table, come on the employee table. See employee table, we have duplicated it. That's why employee two it is giving. So this is how you can create a duplicate. Now, apart from this reference table, so for this employee table, if I click on the reference table, uh, apart from this, I will explain you what is meant by reference table, what is meant by duplicate table. So that is also one concept. What is the reason for creating the source table, reference table? What is the creating here? Another duplicate table will be created. But what exactly difference between reference table and duplicate table? Duplicate means exactly a if you create on duplicate, if you create on refresh, a additional table is created. But what is meant by duplicate table? What is meant by reference table? See here, employee 3 it is there, right? Employee 3 table we created on reference. We created it on create this as I will rename this as rename this employee reference. Here employee table also I have created. I will rename it as we will come to this. What is meant by reference table? There is one important concept where we can discuss duplicate. So reference duplicate. See employee table. In the employee table, what I am doing here. So employee name. I'm select first columns employee name. First three columns you just remember employee number, employee name, job. These three are first three columns, right? I'm trying to if I want to remove the column, you can come here, right click. See, when you click on right click, these options will be directly, it will be there over here. Okay. Direct columns will be there over here, some options. Otherwise, you can come over here in the remove columns also, you can come and select here. It is up to you. By the time you gain experience, you can able to know same options are present at the different location. So in the Excel also, you will see this type of things, right? So I am clicking on remove columns, right? When I click on the remove column, first three columns are removed. So I go to the duplicate table. I go to the reference table. Okay. So previously in this employee tables and reference table, there are three types of tables will be there. When you create, suppose this table also, here also, you can able to find the duplicate table and reference table. Okay, once if you want to employee table from here, this is an employee table, right? So I will go to some transform data over here. Employee table. In the employee table also, if I go over here, I made some changes here, employee table. I created one duplicate over here. So a duplicate employee table is created. From here also employee table, I will try to create a one reference table. This employee 3 is a reference table. So suppose I have created this, I will try to create on close and apply. So these tables will be loaded over here. The changes will be loaded over here. Okay, all tables. Now I need to come to this employee to employee 3. So this Power BI desktop, that means from the Power Query, we enter into Power BI desktop because we have clicked on the close and apply. Now I want to go back to the Power Query. How I can go? Power Query used for transforming the data. I will go to the transform table over here. This we went to the employee table over here. Now employee reference table. See, now when you look at this particular data, this employee 2 manager, see employee 2 table, this what is this table we have discussed, this we have created as a reference table, right? This employee 3 as manager, hire date and salary. In the employee table also we have the manager because we have deleted all this and we have refreshed, right? See, there are three concepts while discussing with the employee table. Suppose there will be two types of the tables we have. So one is called reference table and one is duplicate table. This concept will be discussing in the coming transformation. If you want, suppose if you joined in any organization, okay, any organization. Suppose I have made right now in this particular any table, I will go to the employee table over here. Okay. So if I made some transformation in this particular data, okay, there are some 10 transformations I have made. Okay. What I will do, I will try to in the next step, what I want to save the transformation at that point of time, and I want to duplicate that table. So I made some three here removed columns. I want to remove other columns. Suppose I want to remove the hire date. So I want to remove the commission as well. See, I have made some transformation in the department table also. These are the transformation that I have made. So I want to save these transformations, and in the next day I want to work on this particular file. From here I need to continue the work. What happens in that case? I will try to create a duplicate of that. Okay, I want to create the duplicate of that. So whatever the transformation you have done, these three, it will be present in the original employee table. I've created the duplicate. Here I am mentioning it as, renaming it as employee duplicate. I have mentioned it as an employee duplicate. Okay, this is an employee duplicate. So in the next day, my requirement is I made some transformation that table should be like that only. The table should be like that only. Now in the next day, I will come to this employee. I want to continue the work. I want to make other transformation. So I will come to employee department table. In the salary section, right? I am removing this salary section. Okay, I want to remove this file. I have removed it. So I have made the changes in the duplicate table. Okay, I want to remove this file, this department number also. So these are the two transformations. So here, what is, if you work previously, this employment table contains the transformation that you have done. You want to save the transformation. You want to save the table that we have made transformation. In the next day you are coming, you will duplicate the table and you made other transformation. Okay, so in order to, if you continue work for some time, that the table should be saved, and next day if you want to continue the work on other table, you will create the duplicate table and you will continue your work. In the duplicate table, whatever the changes you are making in the duplicate table will be not present in this original table. Okay, but what happens in the same table, suppose I'm taking it as a department table. Here this is a, we'll take another table like which contains more tables, like confirmation. Yeah, in the column transformation. In the column transformation also, I will try to create a duplicate table. Okay, column transformation, I am making this column transformation. So I will try to, what the tables we have made, it is a duplicate table. I'm renaming it reference. Yeah. Now what happens in the column transformation? If I want to make any changes over here, like we have invoice date, customer name or something, right? These are the tables we have. If I able to delete this first 4 columns in the column transformation, these are the 3 tables. I go to duplicate table. So in the duplicate table, the data will be not duplicate, not be present. So the data will remain same initially. But then go to reference table, you can see that the tables are deleted. See, once I went to the column transformation data, initially we have many columns, like 10R columns. I've kept only first 3 columns, removed the other columns. Now I will go from columns to tables. I have prepared 2 tables. One, I have duplicated the tables. Second, I have I have created a reference table, a duplicate table from column transformation, a reference table from column transformation. Now, if I make any changes, this we call it as source table, because this is the major table. That's why this is a source. From this is the column transformation, we call it as source table. From the source table, I've created the duplicate table and the reference table. If I make any changes in the source table, that will be reflected in the reference table. Okay, that will be reference that will be reflected in the reference table. But if I make any changes in the source table, that information, that changes will be not reflected in the duplicate table. Duplicate table will serves as an independent table. Okay, that serves as an independent table. Initially, without making the transformation in the column transformation, I am going to one step back. Previously, it is column transformation was like this. From that, I have created the duplicate table and reference table. Now, when you look at all the tables are same. Now, what I am doing, I'm selecting only this one table. I'm creating remove all other columns. Only this column is selected. So I made the changes in the source table. Now let us go to the duplicate table. In the duplicate table, the changes you have made in the original table or source table, that is not reflected here. That's why the duplicate table, we call it as independent table, and that will be not depend upon your source table. But when you go to the reference table, reference means this table is referenced to the source table. Whatever the changes that I make in the reference that I make in the source table, those changes will be reflected in the reference table. That means it is referred to the source table. and we call it as a reference table. We call it as dependent table, and it is dependent upon the source table. Okay, when you go and look at this view table in the view, so yesterday I said, like, I have connected to many data sources. I want to know from which data source of my data is coming. In that condition, I will go and check the query dependencies. In the query dependence also, it is becoming somewhat many tables we have collected. Yeah, this is I want to show. This is a column transformation. See, this is a column transformation. Column transformation table is a original table. That what is the original table or source? Original table or source table is same. When you come here, this is our column transformation reference table. Reference table. See, when you look at this, these two are connected. What does it mean? If you make any changes in the source table, that will be reflected in the reference table. This reference table is dependent upon the source table. That's why a arrow is represented like this. That means if you make any changes in the transfer, that original table or source table, it will be reflected in the reference table. That means reference table is dependent upon the original file or original source column transformation table. But when you go in the same way and when you come to the dead right over here, see column transformation duplicate table. That means this column duplicate table, it is functioning as an independent table. So it is not, there is no connection between this duplicate table and this original table. If you make any transformation here, it will be not reflected in the duplicate table. It is serving as a different independent table, like text transport, what is the table? In that way, it is serving as an independent table. So interval will be asking a lot of questions. Which table is a dependent table? Which table is independent table? What is source table? What is reference table? If I make changes in the source table, whether it will reflect in the duplicate table or whether it will reflect in the reference table. And you will ask in the reference. If I make, you can ask me a different table. In the suppose I am in the reference table over here. I am going to the transform tab, okay, or in the home tab. I will try to create a remove column. I will remove all this the invoice also. Okay. Now you ask me. Now you need to answer. I made change in the reference table. Whether this change will be reflected in the source table or not. That is my question. Can anyone answer this question? I'm saying the source file and reference files are interdependent. I made the changes in the reference table. Now whether these changes will be reflected in the source file or not. Can
No,
anyone
it
answer?
will not.
No.
Yes.
Yeah. No. Answer is no, because you need to see the direction. When I go in the view tab, like shown, the direction is from the source table. It is referring to the reference table. That means if you make any changes in the source table, that will be reflected in the reference table. So the direction is from source to reference. But if it is a bidirectional, if you change in the bidirectional, when you go to the view tab, if I show this, it will be better. You can understand over here in the view tab. I'm going to the query dependencies. So let us zoom it. See, column transformation. This is the source table. That means this is the reference table. What is the arrow here from here to here? That means whatever you make the changes in the here, it will be make the changes will appear over here. But now what I did, I made the changes in the reference table. This reference table, but this arrow is not bidirectional. If it is a bidirectional, if you make the changes here, it will be reflected here. So this type of the question will be asked. First, he will confuse, like a source table will be depend upon the reference table. If I make the changes in the reference table, whether the changes will be reflected in the source file? In that condition, no, the changes will be not reflected in the source file. Okay, that is the one. So you need to answer what is dynamic table. They will ask what is the static table. What is the importance of a refresh? What is the importance of refresh preview? Okay, so those are some basic things that you need to understand. So these concepts appear simple, but these are very important in the real time. This data refresh. Suppose by looking at by making how you are working, that you can diagnose you are coming from the experience or not, or fake experience, they will easily find. Suppose if you are working in the data, while loading the data, I will explain you what is enable load, what is refresh load. Those by the time passes I will explain you. Yeah, now this manage we have completed. Properties I will, whatever missing that indicate that it will take some time, we need to dedicate some time. I already said we need to, we'll go step by step. Now refresh preview. Properties is over. Manage refresh all. If you want to cancel the refresh, you can choose columns that we have discussed yesterday by default. If you want in the orders table, these are the straightforward we discussed. So orders table I have not selected. Like let's go to the employee table or department table. Yeah, choose column means if you want to choose any column, this you can select. Like if you want to choose department table, those column will be reflected and remaining tables will be not reflected over here. Okay, this is the choose column that we have discussed. And I've also explained go to column. In the three, from here directly I want to go to location table, location column. Click on the location. Okay, you will go to the location column. Here only three columns are there, not a problem. But in the sometime the number of columns are more than 100. So you cannot able to drag the and waste your time. In that condition, you can go to the go to column. Remove other columns, remove columns that I have explained previously. And these are the straightforward: keep rows, keep bottom rows, and keep range of the rows. uh, this will be discussing over here. Now just to give, that is the straightforward, but I want to mention that subtract here function, that it will be useful for you. So I will connect to the recent new data, so recent sources, sample superstore data. I will connect again. Yeah, see, now instead of going to the new sources, checking it from there and loading it, it will take some time. But if you go to directly recent sources from here, order table I have deleted, right? I want to work on this order table. Just I will select the order table and you click on OK. See, because already people's table, returns table is there, only orders table is missing. So I want to select this order table over here. See here, this is also one of the option. If the table is, if you want to reorder your column, if you want to bring this column a transformation, this you need to select the column and you need to remove over here. See column transformation duplicate. Reference table, just you need to come over, and so by using the drag and drop option also, that you can find over here. Now next moving columns that I have discussed, what is one important thing I want to discuss over, how to not a custom column. Just give me some time. Yeah, suppose the extract function we can use. See, there is one option in the transform tab, we call it as extract. So here there is a first option called as length. What is my requirement is, there are number of the characters are present over here. I want to extract the length of how many characters are present in this. So CA 2016, each will comma, full stop, everything it will be considered as a character. So if I want to extract that, click on length. See, every column it contains 14 characters. That means including, it will consider space is also a character. It will consider comma. It will, special characters will also consider. If you want to find any length of the characters, we'll go for in the extract function. So calculated the text length. Now same in this extract the first characters. See how many, enter how many starting characters you want to keep. So how many string characters extract first out of this, I want to extract first three characters, suppose. Just you mention how many strings you want to. Just I kept three. Click on OK. Say in that only first three characters are out of those characters. This will be helpful for you sometime if you go to the add column, Mr. Janardhan, Mr. Sushmita, Mr. something, Mrs. Sushmita, like that. If you want to extract only the surname, if you suppose Janardhan Patipaka, if you want to extract first five characters or something, or first few letters or something, if your phone number is something, the code 040 something number is there. If you want to extract from last characters or six characters, in that condition you can use that extract first characters or last characters. Okay, yeah. In the same extract also you can extract last characters. See, last 1 2 3 4 5 6, I want to extract last character 6. Click on OK. See, for all the characters the last 6 characters are extracted. So these options are straightforward. Now in the extract function also there is range. So extract, what is meant by range? It will ask me starting from the index how many characters you want to index from starting. See, 1 2 3, suppose first character, second character, a third character, 2004, starting from 4, I'm mentioning 4, 1 2 3 4, I'm mentioning, suppose it has 4 comma 4. Okay, so it is extracting. See, from the extracted here previously from fourth characters, it will try to extract from fourth letter to 4 characters, it will try to extract. Suppose if you want to extract after 3, if you want to extract the fourth character, it will show it. This is how means when I go to this formula, the extracted range, what will is starting from index. Starting from index means first it will remove, it will not consider 3 characters. So it will go to the fourth. From there, it will extract the 4 characters. Okay. So if you want to extract the particular middle of the few characters, you need to mention the number of the characters from starting. After which characters you want to extract, you need to mention it in the starting index. And from there, how many characters you want to extract? 4 or 5 characters. Why I'm kept as a 4 characters? Because when you look at this, when I look at this, when I remove this, so here I want to extract, suppose if I want to extract the year from this, so CA 2016. So what I will mention the first, after 3 means what happens? It will not consider first 3 and it will start from fourth. From fourth letter, how many characters it want to extract? Fourth letter from fourth year, 2000, 1, 2, 3, 4. That 4 you need to mention. So same way, you come to the extract. When you go to the range of characters, so if you mention 3, that means first 3 characters will be removed. From the fourth characters, the data will start appearing. From fourth, how many characters you want? Fourth, 2016 year contains 4 letters, 4 characters, right? You mention the 4 over here, click on OK. So the year is extracted over here. So in the same way, if you go one step back over here, like extract, it will test before delimiter range. Before delimiter means, see, what is the text before the dim? See, you can after delimiter, before delimiter, you will find some difference. So if I select this column and clicking as test before delimiter, what is the delimiter here? In between the characters, we have hyphen. Okay, click on text before delimiter. It will ask you what is the delimiter name. Delimiter name is hyphen. Just you mention the hyphen over here. Okay, click on OK. What happens? It will extract the data from the first, wherever the first delimiter is there. From that first delimiter, whatever the data is present before that first delimiter, only that data will be extracted. Okay, when you go to here one step back over here, if you want to see here, the delimiter, first delimiter is coming after CA. Whatever the data which is present before the delimiter will be represented over here. Okay, when you come to the extracted, come here, see that CA will be reflected over here. Now, same way, if I select this, come to extract function, text after delimiter, if you click on C, after delimiter, what you will find, After delimiter, you are selecting. What is a delimiter? Delimiter is also a hyphen over here. I'm selecting hyphen. Okay. So text after the delimiter means what happens? Whatever the data which is present after the first delimiter, all the data will be extracted. So if you want to see this, what is the first delimiter? Cn hyphen. Whatever the data which is present after the first delimiter, all the data will be extracted. See, after CA 2016, this first delimiter, after CA, this is the delimiter. After that 2016 1516, all the data will be extracted. Okay, that is called as extracted. Whatever the data which is present after the first delimiter, that will be extracted.